At Raising Financial Freedom, we're on a mission to inspire and empower financial freedom to every parent so that they can pass it along to their children. Through engaging stories, expert advice, and actionable tips, our podcast is transforming lives and helping listeners take control of their financial futures. Your support helps us produce high-quality, impactful episodes, expand our reach to underserved communities, and keep this life-changing content free for everyone. Whether it's $5, $10, or any amount, every donation fuels our mission and makes a difference. You can donate by clicking the heart-shaped link next to the social icons or the link at the bottom of the show notes. Once again, thank you for supporting Raising Financial Freedom and joining us in creating a world where financial freedom is within everyone's reach. Together, we can make a difference.
Today on episode 19 of Raising Financial Freedom, we are going to talk about one of the 3 major purchases your child may make in his or her lifetime. What are those major purchases? Well, one is a car, the other is a house, and the one we are going to be talking about today is education. Now, college is the first major purchase your child will make if they don't get a full scholarship or if their parents are not paying for it. So this is the first major step your child will be taking into the world of debt. I don't think this is something that you should take lightly. Our guest today is Beth Walker. Beth has been a financial advisor for almost 22 years. She's also a mother, and she's the author of the book, Never Pay Retail for College. Me and Beth are going to talk about the beginning steps of getting into college, paying for college, and everything else around college that will help the child and the parent when it comes to cost. So as always, I could hear one of the loves of my life calling me right now.
Dad, hurry up and turn on the music.
Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have it all financially? Do well-off parents simply hand their children money? Or is there more to this wealth thing? Welcome to Raising Financial Freedom, the podcast. We are here to talk about everything you never knew to teach your children when it comes to starting their financial future. The principles behind wealth and methods that are out there to teach your child about personal financial freedom. There is no real trick to earning other than learning. We are here to discuss, teach, and grow with you. Raising Financial Freedom, the podcast, with your host and concerned parent, Eric Yard. Let us get right into today's show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Raising Financial Freedom. I would like to welcome Beth Walker. Beth.
Wow, Eric, I'm not used to that kind of a response.
Well, you deserve
That's awesome.
it. You're my guest. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Considering where we are in the world and the pandemic, I have a lot to be thankful.
Yes. Now, in your opinion, what is the state of education spending on college this day and age?
It's a runaway freight train. And I think that so many families they're not stupid, but they're uninformed. They're ignorant as to how they can slay the dragon as it relates to the cost of higher education.
Right. So why is the cost of college continuing to rise, and is it justified?
It continues to rise because as consumers, we haven't demanded a lower cost. It continues to rise because in a knowledge-based economy and an experience-based economy, the thought is we must have a college degree to succeed. It continues to rise because as loan limits are increased by the government, the schools just take their costs up. It continues to rise because we do things in American education that education in other countries don't do. An example might be there isn't a groundskeeper for a football stadium at universities in Germany. There isn't huge staff supporting departments for studies and programs that don't contribute to degrees at universities in Canada or England. So the overhead for what is being delivered at a university in America is out of control. And as consumers, we haven't told them, hey, enough is enough. We're not going to play anymore. We just keep.
Yes, unfortunately, that's a situation that we keep walking into very blindly.
That's probably the biggest issue is when you really step back and look at what any family with 2 or 3 kids to put through college is doing, they're effectively buying a new house. When you add up all the costs and you look at the out-of-pocket cash outlay that they're facing, it's on par with buying a house. Now, as consumers, when we think about buying a house, we recognize that it's to our advantage to put down a small down payment and then finance that purchase over a long period of time at the lowest possible cost. But as parents, making this very emotional decision about where our kids are going to go to college, we lose our consumer mindset and we let our emotions take over to our own detriment from a financial perspective.
Your book, Never Pay for Retail College, How Smart Parents Find the Right School for the Right Price. What entailed you to make this book?
I've been helping families find a way to pay for college for over 20 years now. When I wrote the book, what I wanted to do was share this information with more families that I could possibly meet with and help them understand that college is a multi-year project plan. And there are 12 critical components that are going to either make or break the success of your project plan. 4 of those components are owned and controlled by the student. 4 of those components are owned and controlled by the parents. And 4 of those components are a collaboration between student and parent. And I think families have not recognized that this isn't something you wake up during the junior year of high school and say, okay, now we're going to get serious about college. It's a very intentional approach to finding the best possible fit from an academic perspective, from a personal fit, sense of belonging for the student, and for a financial fit for the family. And because of the costs, we don't have a lot of margin for error. It's just become so expensive that if parents don't do it right, they're going to have disappointments in terms of the quality of education their student receives and the impact that has not only on the student from a am I carrying debt into my adult life perspective, but also the parent's ability to retire in the lifestyle to which they've grown accustomed. Oftentimes, parents don't understand the impact of the decisions they're making until they're in their mid-70s when it's too late to unring that bell.
How can a parent get across the seriousness of borrowing for college to their child?
I think college offers such a wonderful opportunity to begin a student's education as it relates to money. Unfortunately, every study that's conducted says that financial literacy in America is on the decline and has been for the last decade. So we get very little training in personal financial matters, and very rarely is it discussed at the level that it needs to be at home. And so college represents the first really adult decision that a student is going to be involved in. I think it's a terrific time for a family to sit down and really talk about, hey, this is what this is likely to cost. Here's the big number on a year-by-year basis. This is why getting good grades makes a difference. This is how these costs could be discounted. This is how we believe we're going to be able to manage the payments for this over a period of time. So talk about a teachable lesson. It could be that first really big adult discussion around money that any family has. And so in that regard, I think it's very positive. And having the student take ownership in the outcome of that is huge. Having them recognize how they can play a role based on their GPA, their standardized test score, the strength of their high school curriculum, those things matter and have an impact. So while a student may not pay with cash, they're going to pay with work. And they need to understand how they're contributing to the overall equation.
I see. So you mentioned financial literacy, and here at Raising Financial Freedom, we are very big on that. How important do you think financial literacy is for the parent and the child before they get into the process of college?
I think it's paramount. I think the student loan crisis that we all read about is directly correlated to our lack of financial literacy. These are uninformed borrowers. These are people that have not been able, because they don't have the tools or understanding or nobody's taken the time, they haven't been able to forecast into the future 10, 20, 40 years down the road. What's the consequence of the decision that you're making right now? And just to be clear, when I work with families, what I'm usually telling the parents is finance their future, meaning the students, and fund yours, meaning the parents' retirement. I'm a big advocate of using other people's money that's cash flow efficient and tax efficient to pay for school. But how you do that, how you think about that is critical. I think in America, we're very hung up on the concept of debt, and yet nobody's ever really defined it for them. Debt is a financial obligation that can only be repaid with money you have yet to earn. Liabilities, where we go take a loan for a house or a car, those are collateralized loans. Those are asset-backed lending instruments. And so understanding the difference between true debt and strategic financing is critical as it relates to college, because what is every parent trying to do? They're trying to maintain their current lifestyle. They like the houses they live in. They like the cars they drive. They like the vacations they take to make memories with their kids. We don't want to interrupt that. They also need to get on track and stay on track for retirement, because the kids can get loans and scholarships for college. Mom and dad are not going to get loans and scholarships for. So understanding how to then add this big cash flow hog called college into that equation, that's where really detailed cash flow planning and really detailed understanding of how your personal economic model works is critical. I find that college is a catalyst for getting your financial house in order.
In your opinion, Beth, what hidden costs to college can really increase the price of it overall?
The student not knowing why they're there and what they're there to accomplish. Colleges don't even publish four-year graduation rates today because more than 50% of students take 6 years to get a four-year bachelor's degree. Why? Because they spend the first 2 years floundering, trying to figure out what lane they should be in. We have the science to do assessments and understand the probable career path and majors that students are hardwired to succeed in. We just don't use it effectively in education, which blows my mind. So I think one of the biggest underlying costs is not having a game plan. That student needs to step foot on campus with a sense of purpose and a plan, know why they're there, what they're there to accomplish, and be focused on the mission. The amount of money that's being invested is just too significant for us to be casual about it. And by the way, I'm all for that four-year college experience. I'm all for the non-financial, non-classroom learning that goes on by sending kids to college. But we can do both at the same time. We can be focused on the 40, not the 4. Why are we going through this exercise? Why are we making this investment of time and money? To prepare ourselves for a better future. And I find too often that for kids and parents, it's just the next thing you do after high school. We can't be that cavalier. We have to be much more strategic.
I want to get back to the point you just made, which I don't want the parents out there to just slide by. You're saying it's taking, on average now, for a 4-year degree, 6 years?
I'm saying that over 50% of kids today are taking 6 years to get a 4-year bachelor's degree. And at the cost that continue to escalate, that is just shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah, big wow. So why wouldn't I take the time and spend the money before the kids go to school to understand, hey, how's that kiddo hardwired? How do we play to their strengths? What's their probable career path? Which majors support that? Which schools are really good in those majors? And then of the schools that are really strong in those areas of study, which ones are likely to give a discount or an incentive for that student to attend? Hence the multi-year project plan. We're not going to figure this out in 6 weeks. We're going to do a great job if we can start talking to the students at the end of their sophomore year or the beginning of their junior year of high school and work through all the different things that are important in arriving at good decisions about which schools to apply
And I like
to.
how you're in the book. It pretty much says that college is a project. How important is it for the parent and the child to realize that this is a major project that they need to take serious?
I'll put it to you this way. I love to use the analogy of a high-end kitchen remodel. When you think about remodeling your kitchen, there's a lot of steps in the process. There's a definite sequence of success. And while there needs to be that general contractor who understands the big picture. Here's the budget, here's the timeline, here's the desired outcome. It's not a one-person job, is it? You've got to have an electrician, you've got to have a plumber, you've got to have the person who's going to lay the floors or put the cabinets in. The lead time requirements on ordering those so that they all fall into place at the right time. There is a definite sequence of success. The same is true as it relates to the college project plan. Understanding the role that the guidance counselor at the high school is or isn't going to play in that. Understanding the role that test prep or writing essays or things like that play in the overall equation are important. And so what I've discovered over the last 20 years is, and I say this in the first chapter of my book, this is the family's personal Mount Everest. And a lot of people that climb Everest hire Sherpas. They hire seasoned guides who have been there before, whose job it is to keep them safe and to avoid the common pitfalls. And so what I've discovered is oftentimes you're going to have to find those people, an independent education consultant, a financial advisor that understands the nuances of college cash flow planning, a career and majors assessment guide that can really work with students to help them become self-aware and answer the why and what. I find that small investments of time and money prior to going to college, prior to making that final decision, pay off big time for the family. And I fundamentally believe that most families can save 25 to 50% on the overall cost of college if they approach it like the project that it is.
Beth, what kind of mindset should the parent and the child take in order to handle the project of college?
I think the mindset that they need to consider is there's more than one solution, meaning don't fall in love with one school. Find several schools where you could be wildly successful. Number two, so that means you got to be open-minded. Number two, back into the budget. I find that college is a catalyst for families to really evaluate, hey, where are we spending our money? Are we on track for retirement? Are there places in our lifestyle expenses where we're transferring money away unknowingly and unnecessarily that now that we've taken the time to evaluate everything, we can bring back and redeploy and use differently to our advantage? It's such a terrific time to really pause, reflect, go through a detailed planning process, and get on a great track. So number one, be open-minded. Number two, have a realistic budget. And number three, understand that you're going to finance college so that you can stay on track for retirement. Those three things I think are really critical.
Can you describe the type of stress this college project can have on a parent and child?
I always like to say we're the people that run into the burning building because teenagers and a six-figure investment, what could possibly go wrong? It is an emotional hot mess. Nothing is more stressful for a parent than a couple of things are going on. Number one, if you haven't saved money or set aside money or developed your game plan, there's a lot of fear and anxiety on the part of the parents because it's, oh my gosh, how did I get here and I'm not prepared? So there's an embarrassment factor that you don't want to admit. And then as a parent, we want the very best for our kids. We want to see them succeed. We want to give them every opportunity to flourish and become the best version for themselves. And so the emotional aspect of this decision goes into overdrive and it leaves that consumer mindset in the dust. That's real stress. We're not looking at this through the lens of a consumer going to make a major capital purchase called college. We're looking at this as a parent trying to do anything we can for our kids. So having somebody help you find the balance between those two things is critical. Now, occasionally, let's call it 10% of the time, I'll come across a family where the parents are like, there's no way I'm going into debt to put these kids through school. There's no way I'm going to derail retirement. So they've made a decision to abandon the emotional aspect of this and look at this strictly from a financial perspective. But even those families may be approaching paying for college in a very conventional way, only to find out that there are smarter ways for them to go about it.
If you had to pick one thing for a parent and a child to do in the college process, what would it be?
I've been asked that, and I always say, if you put a gun to my head, while I believe that all 12 critical components are in fact critical, If I had to boil it down to one, it would be school selection. The cake gets baked based on the schools that your student applies to. So all the time, I will have students say, I'm interested in going into this school because I love their football program. I'm interested in going to this school because my boyfriend's going to go there. I'm interested in this school because my grandfather went there and I love the campus. There are a lot of reasons kids fall in love with a college, but that doesn't mean that we've created a strategic college list. So often I'll have really smart kids share with me a list of schools that are all flagship state schools. And flagship state schools are limited in their ability to discount their costs. That same smart student could sprinkle that list with 3 or 4 private universities that have a super high sticker price, but upon review have a history of giving away a ton of free money to smart kids like them. So they could actually improve their outcome just by changing the names on the list of schools they're going to apply to. So to me, the most influential component of the project plan is which schools is that student going to apply to.
Makes definite sense. You mentioned before cash flow. And when I read your book, I realized when I was going to college, I was having a cash flow problem. Can you go into that?
Absolutely. I think that traditional investment management and traditional financial planning is very focused on accumulating assets, filling an investment tank for the future. And it doesn't really evaluate the role of day-to-day expenses for lifestyle, the role of taxes, the role of where we save for retirement. When you are faced with a sudden cash flow challenge like college, oh my gosh, $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year. Even if you've set aside money over time to pay for that, it hasn't kept up because of the rising cost of college. It's just a runaway freight train. So most parents can't save their way to pay for school. And so a deep dive on, okay, what is coming into the household? Where is it going? Could it be changed, altered, reevaluated in a way that allows you to maintain your current lifestyle, stay on track for retirement, and pay for college? 9 times out of 10, the answer is absolutely. It may have to do with how you're saving for retirement at work, how you have decided to purchase and pay for your home, how you're saving for emergencies and opportunities. But it's really looking at the whole personal economic model in total that makes a difference. I'll give you an example. Let's say that because I am a good saver and I've got more than 6 months of reserves set aside for opportunities and emergencies, maybe I could go back to my homeowners and auto insurance agent and raise my deductibles. That reduces my annual premiums. That might pay for books because I wasn't going to make a claim for $500 or I wasn't going to make a claim for $1,000. So why am I paying for the privilege of doing that? These are things that are little, but when you add 5 or 6 little things up, you may have created the cash flow that allows you to borrow money to pay for school and pay back over time. So it really is understanding how that personal economic model works in total.
Introducing the Dollars and Cents Bundle. This isn't just another boring financial guide. It's your secret weapon for raising financially smart kids. Inside this bundle, you'll get 3 powerful tools to make money lessons a breeze. First up, a kid-friendly budget sheet. It's the perfect way to help your child track their money, build healthy habits, and get hands-on experience managing their earnings. Next, you'll unlock the guide Money Mavericks, bite-sized wisdom for busy parents. Think of it as your quick start playbook, packed with expert-backed tips to help you teach your kids about saving, spending, and everything in between. And finally, there's my favorite part, interactive digital flashcards. These are perfect for teaching core money concepts in a way that's fun, engaging, and memorable for the whole family. Here's the best part. The Dollars and Cents Bundle is completely free. Yep, free. All you have to do is sign up and the tools are yours delivered straight to your inbox. You owe it to your kids to give them the skills they need to succeed in life. The Dollars and Cents Bundle makes it simple, fun, and totally doable, no matter how busy you are. So, what are you waiting for? Make financial literacy a family adventure. Head over to show notes right now to grab your free Dollars and Cents Bundle link, or go to nurturingfinance.com and subscribe. Don't wait. Start your family's financial journey today. I see. What is the biggest challenge, in your opinion, that a parent will have to overcome?
Paradigm shift and a willingness to take things that they've always believed to be true. I love to ask this question, Eric. If what you believed to be true turned out not to be true, when would you want to know? They used to believe you couldn't run the mile in 4 minutes until somebody did. They used to believe that hand washing didn't make a difference until they discovered, the mortality rate on women delivering babies went way down when the surgeons started washing their hands. But it took the medical community 20 years to overcome their conventional wisdom on that. So sometimes what we believe to be true from a financial perspective turns out not to be true, and we just have to be open-minded. The other real thing that I think parents have to wrap their mind around is this concept of debt. I would say 10 out of 10 parents come to me and say, I don't want my kids to graduate with debt coming out of college. And I can appreciate that. But if we have that paradigm shift and I say, wait a minute, what if a student taking a low-cost student loan at 2.75% interest that they don't have to start paying back until they graduate, and then they have 10 years to pay back, turns out to be one of the best financing tools for the household? Would you as mom and dad be willing to repay that low-cost student loan because you can't get access to money at 2.75%? So even in my own household, the discussion I had with my son, Mac, was, okay, buddy, you get a 3.0 GPA and you finish a 4-year degree in 4 years, Dad and I will pay your student loans. So you take it and we'll help you repay it. We'll build your credit out of school. You'll get the tax deduction on the interest of the loan. But as a family, it's a super efficient way for us to help pay for school. So that's a paradigm shift.
You see. I think your son has a great advantage.
Let's hope so. I always like to say I eat my own cooking, so I practice what I preach.
Good. That is very good. I feel he has a great advantage on his side. I'm going to tell you personally, one thing I liked about the book and one thing I did not like about the book.
Oh, good. I thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
One thing I like about the book is that you broke up the duties and to the student and the parent, and then another set of goals for the parent and the child to do together, which I was reading, which made so much sense. What I did not like about the book is that this book was not available when I was going to college. I'm reading the book and I'm like, wait a minute. Why was I not told this? What was this? Were there books like this? I looked back and I didn't see any.
Eric, I so appreciate that because that's exactly why I wrote it. Because I've been a financial advisor for almost 22 years, and I've been frustrated with my own industry. And I'm thinking to myself, why aren't we telling people how to do this? Why don't other advisors help their clients understand how to go about this? I think because I have the brain of a financial planner, but the heart of a mother, I was uniquely suited to write a book like this because I could approach it from both the parent and the advisor perspective. And that's really powerful because I am a mom on a mission. I am determined to make this a better project plan for more families. It shouldn't be this complicated. We do need to get the word out. It should
not be this complicated. Beth, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
I want to thank you for having me. I appreciate that. I want you to tell the people exactly
where they could find you, they get in touch with you, and any future projects you may have going on.
So the best way to find me, my website is, and I apologize for how long it is, centerforcollegesolutions.com. centerforcollegesolutionsplural.com. You can reach me via email, beth@centerforcollegesolutions.com. You can reach me via phone, 719-522-2278. We offer a complimentary consultation 30 minutes just to check in and see where you are on your college project plan, and maybe give you a couple of great ideas that you can run with. We also tell people at the end of that consultation, hey, we're going to send you a follow-up email. We're going to send you a blank outline of all the services that we have and what it costs. So if there's anything that we do that would help you that you want to opt into, great. But there's no pressure and there's no cost on the 30-minute consultation. In terms of next project, I am working on a new book. It will be coming out probably to coincide with Back to School 2021. All the things that we discussed in Never Pay Retail for College, but now through the lens of a pandemic and where higher education is going. So I'm really excited, and it's going to be a collaboration. It's going to involve a number of other experts in this field, and I think that families are really going to benefit from the new book. We don't have a title yet, but stay tuned. I'm excited to share that with people.
Sounds exciting. Sounds like another good read to coming along. So once again, Beth, I want to thank you for coming on the show. What have I taken from this interview? Well, there's just so much. I'm so tempted to go to my book and go and check one of the bookmarks that I have in the book, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with what Beth has pounded into my head, and which is the main point that I wanted to also convey. College is a project. The child has tasks to do on their side. The parent has tasks to do something on their side. And both child and parent have tasks to do together in order to make sure that this process goes smoothly. Look, you and your child can't have one foot in and one foot out. You must be fully vested into this project. The type of money we're talking about here is down payments to 2 to 3 houses, maybe. So have a definitive plan. How are you going to start that plan? Well, get Beth's book. And then do more research and see what works best for you and your child. Now I want to remind you about a contest we are holding about the question of the month. Go to our contact page on raisingfinancialfreedom.com and scroll down to the bottom and you'll see the question right there. You can answer it and then you'll be automatically entered into the contest for a $25 gift card. So as always, I would like for you to share with other parents, tell other people about the show, and let's, generate some talk about financial literacy for our children. So until next week, stay safe.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Raising Financial Freedom, the podcast. Stay connected with us directly through raisingfinancialfreedom.com. You can also join the discussion on social media, which you can also find links on our website. If you would like to speak with us, please send us an email through info@raisingfinancialfreedom.com. And as always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to stay fully up to date. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
Before you go, I wanted to tell you about a new option called Fan Mail, which uses text messaging to give our listeners the ability to text our show directly. There is a link in every episode at the top that will say, "Send us a text." You can use that link to text the show. When a listener clicks the link in our episode description, a new text message will open on your device directly to the show. It's that easy. So tell me what you think, what else you want to hear out of the show, or simply your thoughts on that episode you just heard.